芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。次はあの子たちと銀行ごっこをしようかしら。穏やかな雰囲気、とても好きです。
追加料金が必要です。考えとく。おっしゃる通りです。
芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。
Hey, what's up, Cherry-sung? Good to see you again, man. How you doing? Hey, what's up, Elijah? Good to see you again, man. How you doing? My father's doing 20k now. 20k. Sorry, what? 4.7 is gonna be something else, or no? Yeah, certainly. So obviously, right, like the new character, like, you know, like usual, of course. Sorry, characters. Excuse me. Yeah, characters. New characters. Obviously, yeah, right. Like it's a given. Like not every patch has a new character, but you know, sort of, almost every patch. But oh yeah, Clorinde is being released. Sigewinne and 4-star Sethos. What else? Big. Some of the bigger things, other than the characters, in 4.7 are going to be. Oh man, like even the reruns are pretty big. Furina and Alhaitham. Those are some pretty big reruns, man. I feel bad for new players who don't have, for newer players who don't have all those older characters yet, including myself. Well, technically I'm not a newer player, but I don't have Alhaitham, and obviously I don't have the new characters. So, like, you know, and I'm not a whale, so that's a big problem for me. Another problem. Oh, sorry. What? Another big thing in 4.7 is so obviously the Dainsleif. Well, it's not really a Dainsleif quest. It's more like what are these quests called even? I can never remember where to find those things. Here? It's a traveler quest, I guess. Yeah. Traveler. Yeah, it's not an Archon quest, it's a Traveler quest. Those are pretty big typically. Like they drop quite a bit of lore. And they push the story forward quite a bit. And not necessarily like the story to unlock the region, or whatever. It's like a story to when we, you know, like us trying to be reunited with our sibling. Another big thing that, like, they announced it, and okay, I understand, like, there's not really anything else to say about it, like, but it just seemed like it was just a tiny part of the special program, but is also a pretty big thing. Max resin cap being increased to 200. I was like, I don't know. I didn't expect that. I'm happy, but I did not expect that. At least not anytime soon. Like I might have expected that to happen in, like, I don't know, another 5 years from now. But not now. I mean, it's a good change. But I was not expecting that. But it's good. It's good. Father is Arlecchino. Father. Oh, my father. Okay, I'm sorry, Cherry Song. I read your message like 5 minutes ago. Father is Arlecchino, and I was like, okay, why so random? And I just finally was able to put it together. Nice, congrats, man. I missed. Congrats. Seems like you're enjoying your Arlecchino. The Natlan teaser I did see as well. Oh yeah, that's right. Natlan. So it wasn't so much of a Natlan teaser as more like a teaser for a potential mount system. Like, I don't think it's going to be a mount system as like how most gamers typically like how most mount systems function in other games, because, you know, like with Genshin, it's never really that straightforward. Like, right, like, for example, they gave us the I was about to say overload. Sorry, what is it called again? Where's the thing? Okay, wait, where do I find that thing? Loadout, yeah, loadout system, right? So, like, typically when we say loadout, you get to pick exactly which stuff, you know, is in the loadout, is in each loadout that you save. But with Genshin, they had to do it the Genshin way. And they didn't just make it just straightforward, like how everybody knows how it works. They had to do it a different way. Which is... I get that they seem to have been, like, for a very long time now, they've been trying to do things in a very similar way to how Apple, you know, like the phone, the technology company, how Apple does things, where, like, they don't just implement stuff as how they don't copy everyone. Like, they get the idea and then they have to do it their own way. And Apple is pretty good at that. Like, typically, you know, they don't always hit it out of the park, but generally when they apply something to their ecosystem, it's usually in a pretty good way. So far, Hoyo has missed every time. Swing and a miss. I'm sure some players probably use the loadout system, but if it was actually like a proper loadout system, I bet everyone would be using it. I'm a trader. I've been addicted to Wuthering Waves. Hey, it's, you know, it's a video game, man, and I hear it's pretty good. We do got Clorinde and Sigewinne story quests, and that will be 4.7 soon, you know. Oh yeah, of course, their story quests as well. Hey, what's up, Kiko? How you doing, man? They did not say anything about the resin refresh rate being faster, though. Yeah, no, we're not getting more resin. And by more, I mean like more resin per X amount of time. We're just getting a higher resin cap. And I should really change what I wrote down in the description of this stream. I just put in more resin. Higher resin cap. Let's see. Clorinde story quest. Sigewinne story quest. Oh yes, that's right. Natlan. What's the word? Teaser. Teaser. Natlan equals Pokemon. Okay, that's a different one. That's a different one. So one what I've heard so far is people comparing it to Yoshi's Island. Pokemon, a different thing, but I see, yeah, I see how you got there. Yeah, I see how you got to Pokemon. Okay, I think I'm gonna do my dailies and resin stuff before I, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be doing the story quest, or sorry, yeah, Sino story quest today, but I'm gonna be doing the my dailies and resin stuff first. I'm late. Hey, no problem, man. Yeah, good to see you again, Clara. How you doing, man? A resin cap only, not the refresh. Yeah, not the generation, like not the amount of time it takes to generate. Do we have to wait for Natlan for version 5.0 and Genshin Impact? Apple equals Genshin, while Xiaomi equals Wuthering Waves. What? Xiaomi? Sorry. What is... Okay, I'm interested. What does this mean now? What does this mean, Chokoshu? Oh, hey, what's up, Thriller? Good to see you, man. During Natlan. Let's go. Let's go. Wahoo! Oh, wait, I don't know how the wahoo sounds like. Wahoo! Is it that? Oh, how was your day, Clara? What happened? Crazy good, crazy bad. For instance, Sigewinne and story quests will be in version 4.7 soon, so I can wait. I can't wait for that too. Oh yeah, I'm pretty interested in Clorinde's story quest as well. I think I might do dailies on this account. Yeah, I didn't do dailies on my main account because I'm gonna be doing the Sino story quest over there. Yeah, I know, but like, how is Wuthering Waves like Xiaomi? I know why Genshin is like Apple, or rather Hoyo is like Apple. But how is Xiaomi like Wuthering Waves? I think 30 or 40 people came to my house. And the Prime Minister also came. Everyone was in shock. A big person came to my grandma's funeral. Oh, wow, really? You know, it's surprising to me how connected, like how well networked old people are. Like, for example, my grandpa. This was like quite a while back. Like I wasn't even in high school yet. I know that I hardly ever really saw my grandpa because like we really only went there once or twice a year. But like on his funeral, like I was so surprised like how many people went there. I didn't really know if there was anybody important there. But I was just surprised. Like every time I saw him, I just never saw him, I don't know, leave. Like I would see him, you know, leave obviously like doing farm stuff. But I don't know, like I just didn't really see him interact with that many people outside, like you know, aside from his neighbors. Yeah, maybe because cheap but still good performance in Wuthering Waves. They're just giving 10 pulls and 5-star selectors like candy. I mean, they're new. They're new. At one point in time, Genshin was almost as generous as that, but they didn't want to go all in on like being super generous. Like if you remember, right? Like back in the day, people were re-rolling like crazy. Just because making a re-roll, like a 30-minute re-roll got you like 40 pulls. How did that one-shot that dude? I just need you guys to come here so I can store a Hydro onto this shield. Thank you. That was good. My grandmother's grandpa passed away recently. Your grandma's grandpa? What? How old was she? Or was he? Wow. I mean, like, I'm sorry to hear that, but... Wow. Jeez, like, how... Either you're, like, every single one in your family tree is, like, getting hitched really early in their lives. Or, you, like, everyone is living very, to a very high age. But Wuthering Waves still has some issues. I don't know how bad the bugs and performance issues on Genshin back on 1.0. Because I was playing on PC. Wuthering Waves has a lot going in terms of graphical bugs and little stutters. Ah, I see. I don't remember Genshin having any bugs back then. Like, in fact, I think they had more bugs as they kept updating the game. But then, like, it was typically like the game breaking bugs were typically like people would discover them, like on day one after a version update, and then like if it's like so game breaking, they would fix it like right away. But I don't remember. I don't remember any game breaking bugs ever. That, you know, like even back then in the early days, like, and if there were any bugs back then, like at least any serious ones, like graphical ones, especially because like it's a game that's designed to look pretty, right? And like being pretty is part of its selling point. Yeah, and like it if there were, it would have been very obvious to me because I was still playing on a laptop back then, and like I was playing at like what, probably 10 FPS, because remember back then the render resolution options that we had, oh man, I don't even remember. I think we didn't have below 1.0 render resolution back then. The lowest I think was like 1.0, which means like it would be rendered at full resolution on my laptop, a thin and light laptop. Like graphical bugs, like the details not loading on the NPCs and environment. I don't think I noticed anything like that in Genshin back then. Genshin runs very well in 1.0 for me. Yeah, I think it's I imagine Genshin was probably in development for quite a long time, even before it was released. And then like they probably like once COVID happened, they probably, oh man, I hate having to deal with this stuff. Okay, they probably rushed it, like you know, they probably advanced the release date, like their original release date, the one that they already had in mind, you know, to make sure that they could capitalize on the pandemic. They probably already had. I mean, like they did have a previous game, right? Like there was a Honkai Star Rail, or what? Sorry, Honkai Impact Third. They already had like at least a baseline of like the game engine. So the game engine obviously is already there. They use Unity, but at least like they already had a baseline. Like they already had like the base character models. They already had like the base animations. Like obviously, different characters had, you know, different animations, but at least like they already had the people that had the experience to make the same exact game, but just different characters and different lore. So at least the baseline stuff, like the technical stuff, was already there. I guess I'm sure there was a pretty big difference because, you know, like obviously Honkai Impact Third was not an open world game, and Genshin Impact is an open world game. So there's like a lot more when it comes to optimization. It's especially something like like in the 3D space, it's referred to as LOD, or level of detail, and it's that, I don't know if you guys have like how many of you guys have noticed, but like when you when you get for like to a certain distance of a certain object, like a tree for example, or a mountain, like I don't know if you guys have how many of you guys have noticed, but the how it looks like changes once you get to a certain distance of a certain object, and that's them replacing the 3D model of that object with one that has lower that's a lower quality one, because it doesn't have to be full quality because it's like really far away from you. So it reduces the amount of RAM that your system needs, and it speeds up load times because you're loading in much smaller sized assets as well. And not just the 3D assets, but there's also obviously the textures as well. Yeah. What kind of games? Sorry, who's the developer of Wuthering Waves again? I guess I gotta Google this. Hang on. What other games have they had? So Kuro Games Studio. Kuro Games Studio Games. Okay. Let's see. All their games. So they've had 3 games. Twin Tail Battleground. So what is this? Action role playing gacha. What does this look like? What does this look like? All I see is just I'm on Google Images right now. I just see like everything on the internet is just marketing materials, just girls in bikinis. Jeez. What even is this? Like there's nothing on Google Images that shows gameplay. Like I literally searched Twin Tail Battleground and the word gameplay, and it's just all marketing materials and splash art. Oh my god, I can't find anything. Okay, is this it? No, that's one from Wuthering Waves. I can't. Okay, I imagine it's, it's from 2016, so I guess I imagine it's not as popular anymore. Okay, so action RPG hack and slash gotcha. All right, all right. So yeah, I certainly know, or at least I'm familiar a little bit with how Punishing Grey Raven looks. Okay, okay. I from what I remember, PGR isn't open world, right? It's more similar to Honkai Impact Third. PGR is difficult. Yeah, like I've seen some footage of PGR, and like it's combat content is like very fast paced. It's very fast paced, and it's like you need to really love that kind of gameplay for you to actually enjoy that. Okay, and then obviously Wuthering Waves. So okay, so I guess this is the first uh Kuro Games Kuro Games' first foray into open world, and obviously so was Genshin Impact for Hoyo. So they okay, they're pretty similar in terms of like um what's the word I'm looking for? Develop it. Progression. Yeah. In terms of progression, right? Like Punishing Great PGR was more similar to Honkai Impact Third. And then their next game is open world. Oh, how are you doing? Hey, what's up, wrong person? I'm alright, man. Well, okay, you know what? I'm happy. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. My loved ones are healthy, so I'm good on that regard. But everything else is just terrible, man. Just terrible. I'm playing on phone from launch. Okay? Thriller. Have you ever played Genshin on PC? A goal for myself. What kind of goal, Clara? I hope it gets better. I hope it gets better too, cause like it's terrible. Like I just, man, there's bad, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just keep moving forward, and things will get better in the end, right? Like it'll work out as long as I keep moving forward. But this right now, it will not get better if I don't do anything. If I don't make any drastic changes, if I don't do anything drastic. Donate 20,000 of my country's money to people. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could. Why not just do it? Why not just look up some charities? Yeah, some charities, and you know, like some charities that you would like to support. I'm sure there's plenty of that. How's buttons, lady? Um. So okay, the rumors that I keep hearing about her, like in the initial rumors, were quite good, and then like it sounded the rumors started to sound like they were getting lower, and like hype was getting lower and lower. Not by a lot, but like it was like, yeah. And then like the next batch of rumors I hear were like, yeah. And then like the next batch would be like, yeah. And then yeah. And then like yeah. And then you're like, yeah. But she, so far, I hear that she's still okay. She's still oops. I hear that she's still okay. I was thinking of donating too. I mean, like as long as what's the word I'm looking for. As long as it's dispensable money, man. Like it's money that you or your family just don't need. Like it's money that you don't need for any necessities already. Like, food or clothing or like your future, right? Like like college or something. I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, as long as it's dispensable income, man, I would greatly appreciate it. I think Genshin devs already planned a new Endgame and Resin Cap back when Wuthering Waves was in closed beta 1. Then released the new content and Wuthering Waves released, or am I wrong? What makes you think that, Chokoshu? I never played Genshin on PC. My laptop doesn't have a graphics card. I wanted one with a graphics card, but my typical Indian parents said, "You will play games whole day on your PC. We will buy one without." you know, Okay, so this is I don't know how true this is, but most people here, at least most of the people that I know of, uh, they're like their stereotype of Indians are like people in India are pretty techie. Like they're not like the bleeding edge of technology, but like on general, like the tech knowledge, the tech knowledge floor is pretty high, especially compared to the average Filipino. And if that is true, then that your what you said to me just now just further proves what everyone here says.
無事今日
Do I need to let's see, 18 6, it's 11 minus 6 or 5. Okay, I think I gotta condense one resin tomorrow. All right, on to our next account, the goal I want to complete. Hey, good on you, man. Sounds like a very righteous goal that you've set for yourself. My brother is gonna move to England for college. Ah, really? What's up in England, man? I know. I guess there are some pretty, like, how would I describe them? Prestigious, high end, universities in England. Yeah. But if you can afford to, or you're smart enough to get a scholarship there, then awesome. I mean, why would they release a new Endgame and Resin Cap increase now? I mean, okay, fair question. I'm an idiot. Why did I do daily commissions? There's an event. Why did I do daily commissions? I'm an idiot. Okay. Condensed resin. Alright, sure. Sumeru. Where's the chicken? Vegan chicken. Here I come. Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good thought. Now, so the new endgame thing, like the new I'm doing air quotes here, abyss. Uh I don't know, like it feels like it's something that was going to eventually happen, right? Like I hardly expected Hoyo to just leave Genshin's endgame content as it was forever. Like I certainly expected something else to come along the way sooner or later. But the timing, yeah, I guess is it makes you think. Yeah, it's hard not to. Let's see, which one of these should I get? Create a Dendro Sealed. Okay. All right. So yeah, the timing certainly is something that like certainly makes you think. Like why? Why now? Indians know English and know tech at the same time. Just a hunch that they already developing the endgame back then. When closed beta 1, Wuthering Waves is ongoing, then plan to release in Wuthering Release. Okay, that's certainly a possibility. Yeah, especially because the timing, right? Especially because of the timing. The competition really brings something, I guess. It does, yeah, it does. Because, like, think about it. Imagine if somebody comes in and creates, like, comes up with, like, a new proprietary smartphone OS. And it's, like, really good. And like, their hardware is also really good. Right? Like, somebody else comes in and, like, it really quickly, just in the span of, like, 5 years, really quickly takes a chunk out of iOS Apple's market share in like in their laptop and in iMacs, iPads, and like basically most of the industries that they're in. Yeah, you bet Apple is gonna innovate, like actually innovate. Right? And I'm sure, well, Android's been doing that the whole time, but they just can't seem to get the ball rolling in their court. This event is so hard. I felt new endgame is complicated. The new endgame is complicated, right? Like it's complicated. Not the mechanics don't seem that complicated, but it seems complicated because of like the handicaps, the artificial handicaps that are placed on you, like only being able to use certain elements, only being able to use certain characters, right? Like, and okay, sure, they do give you some trial characters, but like compared to a character that if you personally build that character and you know what you're doing, it's not gonna be that good. But like there's so many like artificial handicaps that it's like, so I listened to the way that they talked about it, and it sounded like a combat event, like a combat event in Genshin, but instead it's like permanent. That's what it sounded like to me. The event's not that hard unless you're low AR. I just don't take the buffs to 3 stars, but the boss hurts a lot. Yeah, I mean, for endgame players, like it's It's like it's I don't know. It's harder than most combat events, but you don't need to go all the way to the hardest difficulty. Like for example, like removing all of these and like going like to the most difficult difficulty to get all the rewards. But if you do that just because you know like your pride doesn't allow for anything less, then yeah, it's pretty hard. I'd say it's harder than Abyss, but you don't need to go all the way to get all the rewards. And as long as you know just get the bare minimum to get all the rewards, then no, it's like it's easier than Abyss, I think. It is fun, however. It's fun, you know, especially because like in when you're if you have an in-game account, like there's nothing really to do. There's nowhere to use all the characters and teams that you've built and spent so much time and effort on building properly. If there's no competition, Wuthering Waves wouldn't have thrown rewards at our face like that. Ah, that's true, right? Like, oh, yeah, right? So, okay, I mentioned earlier, Hoyo was also almost just as generous as that, like back then. But then, like, they didn't even have competition back then, right? Like, they were just new. But because they were new, they were like, it was sort of like a, not exactly a completely new breed of game, but it was like, it was very fresh, right? And so they didn't know how well it would do. So that's why, despite having no competition, they were still pretty generous. They're certainly not as generous as Wuthering Waves, but that was mostly because number one, there was no competition. But if there was no competition and they knew that this type of formula of a game would already work, then they probably could have been a lot less generous. But because it was a new formula of a game, then they were still pretty generous because they didn't know if it was gonna work or not, and it did. And in this case, in Wuthering Waves' case, they're being more generous than Genshin used to be, than Genshin was in its, you know, back then, because they are the underdog. They're the underdog, and there is competition, and the competition is already like really big. And it has like some one of the most toxic communities ever. Like literally, if you go into what like a Reddit, like a Genshin subreddit, and just start posting Wuthering Waves is better. Like you better be ready, man. You better be ready. You better use a VPN. Like make sure nobody can track down your IP address. Nobody can find where you live, because you are gonna get shanked. Like really, just oh my god. There was like, in China, there was this dude that was gonna apparently stab the CEO because like I don't what was it again? Like I don't remember why, but they traveled all the way from like a different province in China. Like, just oh my god. Genshin stands are online or in an online asylum called Reddit and Twitter. That's actually pretty appropriate. I haven't seen a single person disagrees that Wuthering Waves is better. That's probably because the people that you've talked to are the people that are actually willing to try out Wuthering Waves. If you go if you ever find somebody who isn't willing to play Wuthering Waves, it's very likely that they're just a fight's gonna happen if you say Wuthering Waves is better. Yeah, I won't allow any rewards to get out of my hand. And also fun, because enemies in Genshin are easy to defeat. You know what? Thank you, Wuthering Waves, for the new experience in Gacha games. At the same time, thank you for the push you made for Genshin devs to cook something besides high quality story and characters. Right? Yeah. You gotta, gotta give him a hand, man. Wuthering Waves. That was really, like, I was expecting that. Like, I know that I would still, like, just looking at the footage, I was fairly certain that I was still gonna prefer Genshin over Wuthering Waves, just especially because, like, Wuthering Waves to me just sort of okay. I understand that they're the underdog in this case, so I understand that they have to try, like, they have to try a lot harder than Genshin does when it comes to, like, how marketable their character designs are. But if they're making the characters so marketable, and by marketable, I think you guys know what I mean. Like, is this the biggest selling point, character designs? Because, like, if it is, then what about the rest of the game? Is it gonna be not that good? And I wasn't hoping that was gonna happen. I was hoping it would be good, because even though I was very sure that that I wasn't gonna try Wuthering Waves, I was sure that if Wuthering Waves was so good, it would slowly chip away at Genshin's market share, and it would incentivize, it would persuade Hoyo to actually put in some effort. Extremely tempted to download Wuthering Waves, especially since the strong FOMO. This FOMO, but I need to steel myself. The FOMO, right? Because, like, it's, if you feel like, if you're sure, let's say somehow you're sure that you're gonna like a certain game, especially a gacha game, right? Especially when it's new, because that's gonna be when they are the most generous. It's really hard to not, that you're gonna lose out on a lot, like, if you wait. But obviously nobody can really be sure how much they're gonna like a certain game until they actually try it. I deleted all my games that I invested years into in hopes of fixing life, and now Wuthering Waves is so tempting. Oh no. Oh no, that's terrible, man. I mean, it's good in a way that, like, it makes you think that, wow, life has been good. Life has provided so many options for entertainment. Right? Like, we have so many options for entertainment nowadays. Right? Like, compare that to what, the 2000s or something. Oh, burning! Oh my god. Alright. Okay, that was Bennett, heal me! Oh, come on. Oh my god, this burning is just... wow. Oh, come on. Oh, jeez. Twice in a row, it did the running thing. Right as I get to Raiden's part. This is terrible. I just using Neuvillette to push through this event. Neuvillette's sort of like a... So, back then we had Xiangling, right? Like, Xiangling, well, the Holy Trinity, right? Like, National. To, like, just headbang through content. And since Neuvillette's release, and Hyperbloom as well, Like it's kind of nice now that we have multiple options to bang our head through any content in the game. I've been playing Wuthering Waves since launch. Story-wise, it had a very weak start, but started to get good in the final act. There were some issues with game optimization, wise, but not major. Oh yeah, you know, like it's new. It literally released like what 3 days ago. Yeah, so that's understandable. But to appease their players, they gave out a total of 20 limited pulls, 1 free 5-star, 60 to 70 a standard pull. Oh my god. Dude, that is quite generous. That is like really generous, man. That is kind of nuts. Sorry, your one rotation deals twice of my full rotation. Okay, you know, it's mostly because of this. What? Oh no, I'm on the third account. Okay, no. Okay. Well, I mean, it's, you know, it is a rational team. So, yeah. Unreal Engine is really hard to optimize. Oh, really? PGR, or sorry, Kuro Games uses Unreal? If they're using Unreal Engine 5, then I don't see why it would be hard to optimize. Okay, I've never developed on Unreal before, so I can't say for certain, but I certainly have developed on Unity before. And so the difference that I see between Unity and this was like 5 years ago. I don't know now. So from what I know of, Unreal is quite old, a bit older than Unity, but Unity is cheaper. Like, you know, like they're like, what is it called? Like their payment strategies or like monetization strategies are a little less, like they're cheaper overall for the developer than Unreal's. But like especially with Unreal Engine 5, I think Unreal Engine 5 is like way better than Unity. Although I don't know what game engine specifically Wuthering Waves is using. Mobile games usually use Unity. That's why Genshin runs so well. Oh yeah, that is what I've noticed though. Is most mobile game devs typically use Unity instead of Unreal. I think Unreal is mostly is a lot more commonly used in the PC game space. I think it's mostly so. Okay, from what I understand, it also feels. Oh jeez. It also feels like Unity it's easier to develop smaller games in, whereas Unreal is like the sky's the limit, I guess. That's how I feel like. Yeah, like Unreal is like the sky is the limit. Like no, like however good you want your game to be, like you can go as high as you want. Whereas Unity seems to be a little more friendly to like to smaller games, aka mobile games. Okay, do your running attack now. Come on, go. Alright, I'll just wait here on the other side for you. How many patience is gonna take. It's pretty tanky. Please don't do your... I should have waited. Oh no, I missed. What? Oh my god, why does that take so long, man? The timing, it's so hard to time that because like it's so much longer than it normally is. Wuthering Waves is Unreal. Mobile games usually use Unity, that's why Genshin runs well. Unreal's for high spec. I get, yeah, that's typically what I see. But like, I think, okay, now the weird part about using Unreal though is like, you're likely using Unreal because you're aiming really high for quality, right? But then like by the time that you aim really high when it comes to game quality, you're typically like high enough budget that you can afford to make your own game. Right? If you're making a AAA game and you know not a lot of, obviously there aren't really any indie game studios that are making AAA games. So yeah, like it's typically the larger game studios that are doing that, like EA and whoever, right? And obviously they can afford to, well, technically EA isn't a game dev anymore, they're the game publisher and they have many devs under them. But yeah, typically because they have a giant publisher, their devs, their game studios, yeah, game dev studios can afford to make their own game engines. And I think, yeah, I think that's why like a lot more, like I think if we pool together all the games, both PC, mobile, and console, yeah, I think it's I think there are a lot more games that are on Unity than on Unreal. You're really the one who complains about Wuthering Waves. Can't be played. Well, our mobile gamers. Ooh, okay, okay. Yeah, alright. I think that's likely because yeah, I think Unreal is a little harder to optimize a mobile game on for mobile. Now, the problem with Unreal as well is because they have so many... Because they have such good optimization tools for PC, I think they developed... So, okay, the thing with Genshin is like, it's kind of obvious that it was developed as a mobile game, but then like they just sort of, I don't know, ported it over to PC, like made it cross-platform, but then like mobile was the original target. So I guess they developed Genshin as a mobile game, but then like was also available on PC. Right? Whereas I don't know, like it sounds like Wuthering Waves might have been developed for PC, but is also available on mobile. So it's possible that maybe like the level of quality like of their character models, their maps, 3D assets are a lot higher than they should be for a mobile game. So maybe that's why. Oh dear. Oh, jeez. RJ, do UW? Sorry. What's UW? You try Taser Neuvillette since it's easier to follow the boss that way. Taser Neuvillette. No, my Neuvillette's not very strong, man. I don't have a Neuvillette team that does as much DPS as Rational. Mostly because my Neuvillette just isn't very good. It's C0 with prototype number. Come on, man. This just... Okay, you're gonna do your running attack here. And I'm gonna regret starting my rotation. Yep, he is. That's so annoying. You wanna... Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna try Taser Neuvillette. Yeah. Like, Taser is, like, by far not even... It's a good team for Neuvillette, but it's not even... It's certainly weaker, right? Like, than Neuvillette's best team. Which is like, what is it? The Dia team, the Virgin, like whatever team, that was the Rainbow team, or one with like C1 and Furina, and Animo. And wow, just Biden just barely survived there. Okay, come on. Come on. Man, that was... These. Now we can see people saying Wuthering Waves could never. Wait. Wuthering Wave... People are saying Wuthering Waves could never? Could never what? Sounds similar to Marvel? Marvel? Which one? I mean, there's a lot. Wait, like the... You mean that one? Hello, RJ. Oh, hey, what's up, Shuri? What's the Genshin bad news? I mean, like, the stream title doesn't say Genshin bad news. It just says bad news. But yeah, I also do have Genshin bad news. So Alhaitham and Clorinde. So who do I pick? Man, I can't imagine for like the players, even the older players now that don't have Furina, right? Could you imagine not having Furina? Like, I can't imagine. If you don't have Furina, and you also want Neuvillette, but you also really like Clorinde. And so, like, there they are, all three of them in one catch. Who do you pick? Oh, wow. I saw that coming too. I played Wuthering Waves. To be very honest, I still prefer playing Genshin over something so unnecessarily hyped up. Unnecessarily hyped up, in my opinion. Really? Okay. What makes you say it's unnecessarily hyped up? Jeez, R5 Sack Sword did not rock. Okay, get over here. I should not have had Xiangling out. She is the squishiest on this team. Good news, thank goodness I have Alhaitham, and bad news, I have no primos for Clorinde. I'll just have her in our trial only. Oh no. They're comparing the performance issues to Genshin while Genshin is 3 years old. Alright. Well, I recommend just shut your mouth. Just stop talking to those people. You see someone starting to make that argument, just shut up. Just leave. Just leave. That is not worth your time. Those types of people are not, they don't want to be educated. They will be educated sooner or later when they get older, as time passes by. Right, it's gonna happen, but it's unlikely to be you that educates those types of people. It's likely going to be a very bad experience in life that educates those types of people. Oh dear. Whoa, how do you get over there? You're on the wall, man. You're not supposed to go very far. Because you're at a wall. That's why I'm here at the wall, so that you don't run very far. Is this guy supposed to have so much resistance? Because like, I really have not been paying attention to how much damage I'm doing, but like now I've been paying attention a little bit, and like I'm hitting much lower than I usually do. I can't explain well, but in FPS games, there's a term called making meta and trying to fit into meta. In my opinion, Wuthering Waves falls into the latter, trying to fit into the meta. Okay. I see. Yeah. I think I know what you mean. It's like Apple versus Android. So I say Apple, the company, because they don't just make Android. Or sorry, they don't just make the iPhone, right? And iOS is not their only OS. Like they have a whole like ecosystem with Mac OS and now iPad OS, etc. So Apple versus Android is like ever since then, like since forever, Android seems to have always been sort of playing catch up. Like even though like if you zoom in, technically, like for a very long time now, Android phones have always been ahead in terms of like how much RAM, how much storage, in terms of like specs, like just raw specs, like screen resolution, screen size, what else? Like new features such as like a second camera and like an ultra wide camera, a zoom lens, what else? Bigger battery, right? Like Apple's been behind in that regard this whole time, but it's always felt more like Android has been the one trying to play catch up. They're trying to like as you said, Shuri, make the meta, but Apple Apple has done a very good job of establishing their brand that Apple is the meta. And the statement Apple is the meta is what Android is trying to catch up to. They're trying to fit into the meta, and the meta is to make your brand the meta. Just felt like it's a superficial replication, trying to ride off of Genshin's wave for now, at least. Well, I mean, like, that's the thing, though. It's, if you think about it, Genshin was also, was a risk, right? Like, think about it. From mobile game developer, Honkai Star Rail third, or sorry, Impact, and all of a sudden, AAA open world gacha game. Right? Not only is a AAA game a risk, because from like mobile game, you know, it's sort of pretty successful mobile game, right? Honkai Impact 3rd was pretty successful. But compared to like all of a sudden AAA $110 million budget game, how do you go from mobile game into all of a sudden that? Right, it was a risk, and like Genshin's like I guess formula of what type of game it is, like it's a gacha game, it's open world, and it's focused more on like being pretty, like being a pretty game. It looks very pretty, the music is very good, and having like marketable characters and like your monetization is gacha. That has been like very untested. It's I don't know, like I'm sure there's probably been a game like that some I don't know, somewhere in history, but like never at this scale. So they took a risk to as you said, make the meta. But and if you think about it, Kuro, well, okay, I don't know how successful what was it, PGR and like whatever the other game that I saw on the internet that they also made before PGR. I don't know how successful they are, but the only reason why I've even heard of PGR was because I was already playing Genshin at the time. And so, okay, that means like the content creators that I'm subscribed to and following and watching videos of are in this specific space, right? And like PGR is very similar to Genshin and or like at least another game of Hoyo's, which, you know, like is Honkai Impact. So at some point, it's like it's almost guaranteed that at some point one of them is going to start talking about PGR, and I'm going to hear about PGR. But with Honkai Impact, I heard about Honkai Impact when I was playing GTA 5. A completely unrelated game. I was playing Minecraft. Right? I wasn't even watching YouTubers or like content creators that were in a specific space of gaming back then. I was just watching gamers. At the time, I was still watching just Achievement Hunter. Right? So like had nothing to do with Honkai Impact, but I somehow heard about Honkai Impact back then. So I don't know. Just from that, I would say Honkai Impact was probably quite a bit more successful, at least marketing wise, than PGR. So why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because ooh, okay, it was not even. Oh hey, what's up, Asitsu? How you doing, man? They have the best hardware, but crappy software. Software can be magic always. Sorry, who's they, Dimitri? But yeah. So I'm bringing this up because like mostly Genshin, Hoyo was able to take the risk because they probably had a bigger bank. They probably had a bigger backer. Like they probably had a bigger budget. And they had better terms with whoever they got money from to develop Genshin, right? Like they probably. I mean, when I say better terms, like maybe they had a deal where like maybe it wasn't. It was more like an invest in us instead of like borrow money. Right? Because like game dev studios do that all the time, right? It's a business, right? And like who knows? Like I don't know, like Kuro Games, like who knows? Maybe they had an investor, or who knows? Maybe they just saw an opportunity. Oh, this game formula is very successful financially. Let's just copy the game formula and let's just borrow money to make a big game. Right? Like who knows, right? They might just have been borrowing money instead of like having an investor, right? It's like you never know what's behind closed doors. So maybe they just decided they weren't going to risk trying to create a new formula of video game that's never been tested before, because like it's a risk, right? Like for example, like when Apple back then released the iPhone, the full screen, the full touchscreen phone, like BlackBerry and like especially BlackBerry, like the other phone manufacturers back then, Nokia, especially BlackBerry, they made fun of Apple for like being for releasing a full touchscreen phone, because like they were like well, that doesn't cater to businessmen. And like who needs a phone that doesn't have a keyboard? Like they were making fun of Apple, and to Apple that was a risk too. And like in fact, it actually was a pretty big risk. Like they and it wasn't just the iPhone; it was also the iMac as well. They at some point, I remember Microsoft had to come in and save them, but it also was Microsoft saving them not just to save them because they were good guys and they wanted competition, but they were also trying to save themselves. Because Microsoft was under some heat from the US government, or I think it was like what's the word I'm looking for? Anti-competitive behavior, stuff like that, right? And like Microsoft was at risk of getting split up into multiple smaller companies, sort of like what happened with Boeing way back then. Boeing, like the airplane company. Boeing at some point got split up into just multiple smaller companies, mostly because they were the only company. At the time there was like a recession in America, and they were the only company that was growing. Everyone else was like crashing. And like that got them under the US government's radar, and they got split up. So Microsoft instead, they I think they gave Apple like $1 million loan. It was like they invested $1 million into Apple or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk. But then Kuro Games, I imagine, just wasn't willing to take that risk. Oh, hey, what's up, Anoko? Good to see you, man. How you doing? It's like with the first, when the first person invented the first hamburger and it works well, and now we have different fast food restaurants that makes burgers, and that's just how the gacha game world works. This event annoys me. It's annoying because like, okay, in a way that like I think I've been here for like half an hour now. So okay, granted I wasn't playing the whole time. I was like rambling for like 15 minutes and like playing for 15 minutes, but normally this boss would have taken me like, I don't know, 20 seconds to kill. Probably less than that. But instead, I've been here for 15 minutes trying to kill it, and I keep dying. It's annoying, yes, because like it's taking me a lot longer than usual. But I'm also happy that I finally have something to do. Somewhere to use the characters that I spent so much time on building. So I agree with you, yes. But I'm also not just annoyed of it. I'm annoyed and happy at the same time. Oh dear, I gotta go do one daily. Good. Praying I get Clorinde. Ah man. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about the 5 stars and 4.7, man. Bring the breadstick Archon. Breadstick Archon. Sorry, who's that? The Primo Geoveshap was Cryo. And I am an Ayaka main. I could have brought my Heizo, but I'm still not done building him. He's level 60 with level 70 Lost Prayer and doing 20k. Oh. And that sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that, Asetsu. Yeah. Well, okay. Now it sounds like you are not a very new player, Asetsu, but it sounds like you're a newer player. And by newer, I mean like you've been playing for like somewhere between like 3 months to a year. 3 months maybe if you've been playing really actively and like you're not as stupid as me when it comes to video games. Like you know what you're doing, or at least you know how to look for on the internet, like how to do stuff or like how to build your characters, etc. It sounds like, so you said you're an Ayaka main. You probably really only have one really strong team, and in your case, it's Ayaka. It's an Ayaka freeze team, and yeah, it's certainly a problem. It's certainly a problem that a lot of new and newer players are having, and not just this event specifically, but it's also like a lot of other events, especially like a lot of the combat events. Breadstick. Oh, breadstick. Oh, that's funny. Archon that summons giant breadsticks. that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So if you guys have noticed, in the last, I don't know, it's been a while. It's been a long while that Hoyo's been doing this, but Hoyo's like a lot, or maybe even all of the combat content that we've had in quite a long while, like maybe the past 1 to 2 years, have been. It's hard to explain, but it feels like they want us to build more characters instead of just making one really strong character. And so by that I mean, like, okay, so I don't remember what the event was called, but like there was an event last patch, like in 4.5, that okay, so that combat event where you have to like every wave gives you like different enemies, but then different enemies, right? Like it's like imagine Abyss if it had 3 halves in a chamber instead of 2, where you had to have 2 different characters for each half, and then like the next part of the event, like the next stage or next level, would have a completely different like set of characters available that have different elements, different types of enemies, and it's like even me, like I have like all my accounts are like endgame accounts. Like granted, my accounts are more vertically invested instead of like horizontally invested. So instead I invest a lot more into fewer characters instead of like a little to many characters. And I didn't have any trouble with it because like it was not very hard, but it was annoying to me that I couldn't just use my super strong characters already because I didn't have them, or I didn't have them built. Like the characters that would have made each like certain parts of that combat event easier to deal with. Hello. Oh, hey, what's up, Avril? Avril. Levine? If you're not 20 years old, If you're younger than 20 years old, there's a pretty high probability that you don't know who Avril Lavigne is. But hey, who knows? You might actually have taste, and you know you like music from the 2000s. Started in 4.0. Okay, but I quit after 4.2 and came back. Ayaka banner. Got her at her level 70. Quit and started playing in March, but my Ayaka is good. I use Ayaka, Diona, Mona. Ayaka, Diona, Mona, and Kazuha. Wow, you got Mona pretty early. At least like pretty well. Mona. Oh, and Kazuha. Wow, you legit have a proper team right there, man. Although I think you'd be a lot better off if you had what's her name? Like this girl, Charlotte. There you go. You had Charlotte as your second cryo character instead of Diona. Charlotte and Furina. Now I imagine you probably don't have Furina as well, because like, okay, it's like started in 4.0 and you quit quite a few times already since then. So I imagine you haven't been playing for that long. And if you're not a whale or a spender, then I imagine you probably don't have that very much to spend on pulling for characters. The fact that you already have Ayaka and Kazuha means that, and Mona, you know, not a, which is a 5-star still, which still takes primos to pull for, even though it's a standard 5-star. I imagine you probably don't have Furina as well. But hey, if you have Furina, then I would recommend replacing your Mona with Furina, and replacing Diona with Charlotte. And in the freeze team, that's very similar to what I'm using right now, actually. Yeah, I used to run that exact team, like a very long time ago, because like I am, like if you, I don't know how long you've been watching the stream, but I've swapped to a total of 3 accounts so far. And like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like all of them have been using Ganyu. Well, I guess except for the second account, because I was using a Neuvillette team for the Gilded and Deepwood domain, because it's just faster there. But still, I consider myself a Ganyu main, despite having many different characters raised and leveled. And so yeah, and from way back then, Morgana, which is like a more Ganyu freeze team, was the thing, and it has been my thing, and I've wanted it to be the thing for a very long time, but unfortunately the game just doesn't like freeze, and we just haven't had very good content for freeze teams in a long while. So that's why I rarely get to use my freeze teams. But yeah, that used to be my exact team: Mona, Diona, and Ganyu, and Kazuha. It used to be Venti back then, but eventually it became Kazuha. RJ's a Ganyu simp, confirmed. well, simp is more like, it should be behind closed doors. It's not something, it's not exactly a title that a brand that I would advertise to everyone. It's more like, it's more for myself, really. More like a Ganyu enthusiast. There you go. That's a plaque that I would put on my office desk. Ganyu, certified Ganyu enthusiast. Genshin forgot about cryo. I think what happened was, so freeze was like way OP back then, especially when this domain came out. Like, okay, where is it? Here. Right, especially when this domain came out with the Blizzard set. It was like, even before then, like freeze, like Ganyu, Venti, a second cryo character, and Mona was already like way OP back then. And like, think about it. If so, okay, I don't know how much you are into Genshin lore, but technically Snezhnaya is supposed to be the last nation, the last elemental nation that we're going to visit. So if cryo or freeze, you know, which includes cryo, is already very good from 1.0, how are you gonna give it? How are you gonna give the players a, I'm doing air quotes here, a cryo arc in the game, if it's already way OP, without making cryo too OP and too imbalanced? So I think that's why they've been very indirectly, sort of, I don't know, like making cryo unattractive. Is that so when they do give us the cryo arc when we go to Snezhnaya, that they won't have to make cryo too OP, if that makes sense. I don't think a new cryo 5 stars can come out since Risley. Has there been? Yeah, no, I think Risley's been the last one. But always remember, a Genshin player burns resin a day to keep the doctor away. I like that. That's pretty good. Burns resin. Oh, wait. I haven't, have I? Daily. Okay, I have. Okay, sorry. I almost forgot whether. I thought I forgot to do the daily check-in today. And it's almost midnight here, so I'm about to be able to do the next daily check-in. And I forgot that I already did today's. That's good. Let's see. Okay, I'll claim those tomorrow. Right, we're good. Getting anything? Yeah, no. Okay. Right, time to switch back to the main account. He was probably missing the days where we spent Resin building characters. Oh, you always got behind. Probably missing the days to spend your Resin building characters. Sorry, what does this mean? Chogoshu. I hate leveling Heizo because of Oni Kabuto. Okay, Azitsu. I don't know if you're leveling Heizo because you feel like you don't have any other DPS that you can use for a second team, or if you're leveling him because you like him. But if it's the first one, then I would recommend you stop leveling Heizo and just start using National. Although that is if you have Bennett and Xingqiu. Especially if you have C4 Shengling. It's fun and kind of good DPS. Well, it's not really a very good DPS. Like, he gives you a big number. But as for being a good DPS, like damage per second, right? Like DPS. Not really. You know, I would say he's usable. Like if you have really good stats, if you had like a C6 Farazan, I don't know, C4 Gene, and Jianyun. Okay, maybe not Jianyun. Who's a very good buffer? I don't know. For I don't know any Heizo teams really, but all I know is that C6 Farazan is like the best support that you'll ever have for any Animo DPSs. And C4 Gene mostly because that is like what is it, 40%? 40 Animo Red Shred? Is Gene there? Yeah, 40 Animo Red Shred. I'm loving him because it's kind of fun. Yep, I have C3 Xingqiu and C0 Penny. Okay. I think you should definitely, yeah, try. I don't know if you, I don't know, maybe you have something against the national playstyle. Like, or maybe you just don't want the game to be too easy. But yeah, if you don't mind that, then I would recommend just going for national for now, especially because like you haven't been playing for that long, which means your account hasn't had a lot of time to generate resin for you to be able to have farmed that many artifacts to make your artifacts like good enough to make characters that are not generally known to be very good at DPS good. I don't know if that made sense. For national, I still need a DPS. Oh, that could be Hazel. Yeah, yeah, that could be Hazel. Like Hazel's, I would say, is a usable driver for national. I mean, I recommend even for a day, just use the 160 resin because you're losing materials and artifacts. Building characters and also dailies for primos if you're F2P. Oh yeah, definitely. Also, every like 24 hours, we don't just have 160. We get 180 resin because like if you do the math, 8 minutes times however no, sorry. What am I trying to do? 24 hours times 60 minutes, however many that is, like how many is that? Then 600. Wait, I'm an idiot. 600 times 10, 6,000? No. Jeez, I'll just use a calculator. Okay, that's 1440. 1440 minutes divided by 8. So how much resin is that? 180. Yeah. Technically, we generate 180 every 24 hours. I'm actually pretty happy. Speaking of resin, pretty happy about the resin cap being increased to 200. Because, okay, like I just said, 24 hours generates 180 resin. But our resin cap now is only 160. Which means if you log in today, let's say, okay, in my case, I'm in Asia, I'm in the Philippines, but I'm playing on the North America server, and that's why my ping is so high, and it's not supposed to be that high. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to log out and then log in, try and reconnect to, try and hopefully I could connect to a better server with better ping. So my daily server reset happens at 5 p.m. my time. And if I log in at 5 p.m., I do my dailies, I condense resin, I use up my resin, and like, okay, let's say I'm at 0 resin. I will have to, and let's say I don't want my resin to cap out. I want my resin to never be full. So for me to make sure to avoid that happens, is I'm gonna have to log in before tomorrow 5 p.m. and at the very least use some resin, or at least condense resin. And let's say I'm a working man. I am. Yes. Let's say, yeah, I'm a working man. I have like, let's say, fixed hours, right? Like I work in an office, I work a normal 9 to 5 job or something like that, right? Where my schedule isn't fixed, and I actually have a life. For example, like I have friends I hang out with, I play sports or whatever, which means I will, and like the only time I have in the day to like play Genshin is, let's say, right before bed. And let's say today I log in right before bed. I do my dailies. I use up my resin at, let's say, I don't know, 9. And tomorrow, for me to avoid getting my resin, capping resin, I'd have to log in before 9. But I don't really have free time before 9, right? Because like my lifestyle doesn't have it. So having the resin cap at higher than 180 means that, okay, I can log in the same exact time tomorrow, and my resin still won't be capped. Sorry, by the way, I'm still logging out and logging in, hoping to get a better ping. And tomorrow, if I log in at the same exact time as today, my resin won't be capped yet. It's like it's 180 resin for 24 hours. But if, let's say, for some reason it's a Friday night, so I went out with my friends. So I came home later than usual. I came home at 11. So because, okay, and all right. So let's say yesterday I zeroed out my resin at 9, which means that's 108. So, and 24 hours later is exactly 9. Tomorrow I'll have exactly 180 resin. And because the resin cap is 200, my ping is still okay. I guess that's probably the best ping I'm gonna have tonight. All right. So that means I have. So okay, by tomorrow, I'll be at 180 resin, but I still have 20 resin before my resin gets capped. And 20 resin is exactly 2 hours and 40 minutes. So if I come home tomorrow later than usual, I come home at 11 because I went out with my friends because it's a Friday night, that means my resin still won't be capped. I still have 40 minutes before my resin caps. And let's say I'm like a little too drunk. I had a little bit too much to drink, so I can't play. I just want to get to bed. And now, like, drunk me will still be like, oh no, my resin's about to cap. Okay, I log in and like, yeah, my resin's not capped yet. But almost though, almost. Still have 40 minutes before it caps out. Which is good. I'll just condense some resin. Maybe wake up a little earlier than usual the next day. I forgot. I guess I should switch this to English. Right? So like I'm really happy that they're increasing increasing the resin cap to 200. And I'm so happy that they skipped 180 and they went straight to 200. Because even at 180, there's still quite a high chance that you're gonna, like, judging from the situation that I just lined out just now.
Correct.
It's still likely that a lot of people are gonna more often
It's ridiculous.
cap on resin.
I'm just an old...
Especially
Professor,
compared to 200.
I've brought some friends.
Ah, Cyno. Now who do we have here? Hold on, let me think.
Who has Alhaitham and how good is he, by the
Fairy
way?
dressed in white? A youth who does not seem to hail from this land? My goodness. You must be the legendary traveler in Paimon. I've heard all about what you've done for Sumeru.
He's strong, one of the top DPS too.
Wow, looks like we're really famous.
I've told him about you before.
Using Hoyo,
You are my
Xingqiu, Benny,
friends, after all.
and C2 Farazan. Xingqiu and Bennett. Ah, okay. So it's like, okay, so you have Xingqiu as more like a sub DPS and somebody to apply elements to enemies.
That's right.
So that you're not just
Let me
doing
summarize the
Heizo
situation.
damage, but you're also
A
doing
couple of
swirls
days
as well.
ago, Professor
C2
Cyrus
Farazan.
suddenly
Okay.
received a threat
I guess
letter.
Farazan is still usable pre C6.
This is the letter
But like
in
the
question.
difference between
Secondly,
pre C6
Clearly.
and C6 Farazan is pretty
I'm
big.
just a single retiree
Okay.
with nothing to my name
yeah,
beyond the tomatoes in my garden.
I imagine, yeah,
There were
okay.
no
I would
witnesses.
still recommend
So
using
currently the
Shangling as
letter
a
is all
fourth
we've
character
got.
in that team, because
So,
especially
Traveler,
because your Farazan's
Paimon.
not C6, right? So
Alright, take-
your Heizo isn't gaining as much
Yes.
damage
So is there some
Possibly.
from your
Most
non
of the people
C6
around.
It's
Farazan
certainly-
as the damage you would gain from just replacing Farazan
Looks
with
like
a
we're
Shangling. But I understand you're a newer player. You haven't had as much time to be farming artifacts. You probably don't have as many really good artifacts to build that many characters, right? Because like obviously Xingqiu himself needs DPS stats. Your Heizo, however I'm supposed to pronounce it, needs DPS stats. And if you put Shangling in there in place of Furina, Shangling is also gonna need DPS stats. So I understand if you don't have enough
there he
artifacts for all of them. So yeah, if that's the case, then yes, okay, sure.
Mahamatra Cyno.
Keep your current team and just
Sir
keep
Cyrus.
leveling them up.
And the
As such, I'm inclined to believe that the culprit in this case is a student at the academia. Somebody
Any
young
talents that
and
Alhaitham
strapped for
has?
cash.
Talents that Alhaitham has?
One last thing.
Alhaitham is a crazy
I'd start your
weakness. Can you
investigation
check me
by
if my
taking a look
characters
at
are
the
good enough
cafes in the
on
city.
Inca or something?
Of
And I'm on
course!
Asia.
You think the culprits
Sure,
spilled their coffee
Eitetsu,
on the
just
ladder, huh?
drop your
They
UID,
do
man.
look like coffee stains to me. Also,
Of course.
Understood.
You have my
Even
gratitude.
Arda is
One last
considering to
thing.
pull
Will
for
do.
Alhaitham, and that's how OP a
Great
DPS he is,
thinking,
because
Cyno.
Arda pulls for meta
Yeah.
DPSs. That's true.
the culprits of
I
whatever
cannot
happened
deny
are
that.
crucial.
Elijah, yeah, what Chocotree said
Wait,
exactly
are you
is
saying-
exactly true. Yeah, so I really like Clorinde, but Alhaitham's
you.
coming together with Clorinde, so I'm not sure
You
now.
wrote the threat letter.
I
I sensed someone was watching us from the shadows the moment we entered the House of Dana. You managed to stay relative. There are a lot of people here, but we were looking specifically for Arav.
Yeah,
was
Alhaitham's a
just
very good
listening in,
DPS.
that's
He's one of
all.
like
You know
I
something
think
big's
that was
going down when
Chocotree.
Mahamatra Cyno shows up, right? So I got a little curious. What's the big deal?
You smiled when Arav left.
That was.
I saw it as clear as day.
Yeah, that was Chocotree. Yeah. So just like
Smiling
Chocotree
up
said
there are
earlier,
coffees
yeah,
closing off
Alhaitham
the
is one of the
cafe.
best,
You can't
one
pin
of the
this
top
really.
DPSs in the
The
game.
innocent, your heart's. Don't try anything or you'll pay the price.
Well, that was over quickly. Sino already caught the guy.
You're telling me. 1 minute I go out for a quick smoke.
English
the
Paimon
next
is a
minute
lot
I
more
see
annoying
Arav already on his way back to meet up
than
with
Japanese
Cyno.
Paimon.
Looked like a young
Just the
guy,
voice,
too.
I think.
Couldn't have been much more than 30. But after what he's done, I'm afraid he's ruined his
Okay.
whole future.
Let's see.
Everyone,
Let's see.
it's all
Ayaka
over.
on Kagotsurube Ishin.
Gosh, that was so fast.
Ooh, yikes.
The
Your
culprit's
Ayaka,
name is
19%
Uraka,
crit rate.
a 16-year-old
attack goblet.
student in the
Okay, I
Ratawe
imagine
Star Shop.
you don't have a... Oh, this is triple attack.
16?
Yeah, attack Sans Goblet and Circlet.
30-something.
We checked his records. He's 16, a third-year student.
But he looks so old.
Hmm.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, I guess 19
Foolish
crit rate
child.
is okay.
He's too young for the criminal life. What the
Is
devil
like
drove him
including
down
prior
this
resonance
path?
and 4
we question the culprit
Oh, just
very well.
for,
Down on his luck.
some old...
Is this
for
guy-
Blizzard.
right.
I guess
Maybe
that
it's
totals to
Araka mentioned
74
Araka
crit rate.
Oh, Araka.
But you have
I'm
way
at a
too much
loss
attack,
for
man.
words.
Like,
I'm so
I
angry
understand.
I don't know
Hang
where
on,
to
is your
start.
Mona?
People
Do you
make
have
up
someone
rumors
on
all the
4
time.
Noblesse? Okay, Mona is on
I am
4
quite
Noblesse.
confident that Professor Cyrus has never embezzled a Mora in his
Diona's
life.
on whatever, just HP.
Arav,
Cause
you'll
on
have to
Ruby,
find
okay.
some excuse to interrogate Araka again later. I need you to deliver a few firm fistfuls to him on my
Okay,
behalf.
I understand that
I
freeze
completely-
teams generally don't have that much access
The
to
academy-
attack
Who
buffs.
said?
Like typically the only
Uraka is all
the
it
most
costs.
common attack buff that you
Yes, I
get
have no doubt about that. But as a
that you have
former-
access to
We looked
in a
into
freeze team is
what?
4
You don't have to
Noblesse.
we have to show
And
the
oh yeah, that's right.
Authorities have already reviewed
I-
the evidence and are now discussing Araka's punishment. You can hold
Okay,
on to the letter for now.
another
Just make sure to return it.
way you can
give or
get
take.
your hands on
Very-
more
My
attack
apologies.
buffs in a freeze team is
Hey, you mean
He is. Tainari's master,
shoot,
Sir
what's
Though
the
I
word I'm
must say-
looking for?
Don't be out anyway.
4
Go
millilith.
on.
4-piece millilith. Because okay, let's see. I don't know if you're familiar with that set. Where is it again? Here, I think. Where? Okay, there. All right, so it's this thing. So ignore the 2-piece set. So when an elemental skill hits an opponent, the attack of your team's attack, you get 20% attack when your skill hits an opponent. Now this is a very short buff. It only stays for 3 seconds. Right? But with Mona or Kokomi or many other characters really, this is like basically brain dead easy. So not only will you have the 20% attack from 4 Noblesse, but you also have 20% from this. And so why I'm bringing this up is you can put 4 millilith on your Mona, because like you're not even trying to build her to do damage, you just put 4 Noblesse on her. And you can move your 4 Noblesse if you have an a triple HP 4 Noblesse for your Diona. Put 4 Noblesse on your Diona and 4 millilith on your Mona. But like you have way too much attack, man. You have an attack percent sword, and you have attack, sands, goblet, and circlet. I understand you probably don't have the options yet for your artifact main stats, but if you do, like switch to a cryo damage goblet if you can. Let's see, your attack goblet isn't even like, it doesn't even have substats. Okay, yeah, so it's like as soon as you get a cryo damage circlet on Blizzard, or at least like to where you can keep for Blizzard on your Ayaka, I'd recommend switching to it right away, man. It's like, that is so much more damage. Crit circlet, I would still recommend a crit circlet. You have, yeah, crit damage. Okay, this is a pretty good circlet actually. You know what? I guess, yeah, never mind. You can stay on this circlet for now, but I don't know, like I would recommend something else, like for the weapon, your weapon. Like I know that Kagutsu Ishin is attack percent. It's not fully leveled. Also, it's like yours is level 80. Go for what's the word? What was that sword? Man, what was that sword called? Aminoma. Yes. Aminoma. Yes. That's it. And you have it too. Yeah, like use it. Use it. That is so much better on Ayaka, especially cuz like you get energy back from it, and your Ayaka has 100 not that much ER. You're going to need ER in Ayaka. While Diona, your Diona is on, okay, on Fav, sure. And Diona hold E already gives you 5 particles. And you get the Favonius bow particles as well. But I don't know if that's enough particles, really. Plus the fact that your Kazuha is on Iron Sting instead of Fab Sword. So you really only have one Fab weapon on this team. So yeah, I would recommend Aminoma, man. Aminoma. Man, this circlet is gonna be hard to replace. Because you're on an attack sands and goblet, or sorry, and circlet. At some point, I highly recommend switching to a cryo goblet. Once you do that, you will still be on an attack sands and circlet. Being on an attack weapon is a little like I think you're over capping on attack at that point. So I would still recommend, like, if you in the future you get a really good crit rate circlet or crit damage circlet, I would recommend switching to that, or switching to a crit rate or crit damage weapon, preferably crit damage. So I don't know, something like if you like, I wouldn't. No, I don't recommend Black Cliff. Yeah, especially in place of Aminoma. Just keep Aminoma. But like if you get like a 5-star crit damage sword or something really good like that, I would recommend switching to that if you want to keep the attack circlet for now. So on all cryo goblets I get is the wrong side. Yeah, it's a problem that everyone faces, man. Yep, everyone's experienced that at least 50 dozen times in the whole time they've been playing Genshin. Would you guys think it'll be an honor if we ever get the chance to face Dainsleif if possible? I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Do I get it there?
Next on the agenda.
I'm an idiot. I could have just teleported there. I thought they were pointing me to inside the building. That's why I didn't teleport. I'm sorry, fishy.
Not to brag,
I'm afraid
but
I don't
we've
read
never had
what
problems like
I
this
think
at
that's
Retawa
Spanish, I
back
guess,
when I was still
or
teaching.
Portuguese.
And if they were
I'm sorry,
students-
man.
I was out in the
I don't
most of what
understand.
professors pick.
Wow.
It's a pity,
And then we'd
Really?
Oh, believe
Elijah, to answer your question, yes.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna explain to you or
Are you sure
anything
about
how
this?
good
I don't know
Alhaitham
what
is.
to
He's
take
very
yet.
good. So my answer is
thought I heard-
yes.
Oh,
I've been all right.
have you eaten yet?
That's awfully. I just came to. So what's the?
I have a level 80 kaching I could build. No, 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 no.
Sounds like things have
no,
really-
no,
I can't
no.
believe
Do
it.
not.
Young people, but still.
Please
Wow. Yeah.
save yourself the trouble,
This
man.
were my-
Luckily.
Trying to get a nice 4-piece lad.
I'll have to
For
get-
now, I got 2 okay ones.
Here
For
I am. The coffee beans are in.
I
Yep,
imagine
it's all there. I'll stop that.
you got Arlecchino and you're trying to get 4 glad for Arlecchino. Just pick Kaching Pro Max in 4.7. Kaching Pro Max. That's funny. That's pretty good, man. I like that. I like that. Kaching Pro Max.
Oh, too tasty.
They will
My
add
lunch
a
belly is
lower
about to
setting
explode.
than that, so Genshin will be playable in lower end devices.
Mine too. I'll have to walk home to burn
Hey.
some of it.
Thanks for dinner, Sir Cyrus.
Well, I look forward to
Kokoshu,
that.
when
In
you brought that
fact,
up, yeah, I've heard about that
No
from like weeks ago.
See you all later.
But now that
Good
you
night,
mentioned that,
Professor.
and
Hey,
like remember the
my
thing that you were talking about
I'll be
earlier,
leaving
like
now.
Genshin adding
Stay up too late now,
like new
children.
endgame content and raising the resin cap,
Alright.
What do you mean?
and like maybe them already starting work on
Whoa,
that from
sounds
like
fun. Wait, no. You
closed
don't
beta
have to-
test one
Everyone,
of
no need to bring.
closed beta test, the first
Great.
closed beta test of Wuthering Waves. Now that you bring up, they're adding lower settings, so Genshin will be playable in lower end devices. It sounds like that's probably another thing that Genshin or Hoyo did. On top of raising the resin cap and working on the new endgame content. Because like, okay, like I will admit I don't expect Hoyo to have known that Wuthering Waves was gonna have optimization issues, especially for mobile. But you can bet they probably expected something like that to happen, because it's common, right? Especially because of like how quickly
Time to
they
set up.
developed
Let's head to the southeast
how
and conduct
quickly
them.
they developed Wuthering Waves. I don't know how long they've been working on it, but I can bet you that they haven't worked on Wuthering Waves before Genshin released. Like maybe in the first beta test, like in some of the, oh dear, I think Ganyu just died. Yeah, maybe like they started working
Wow,
on it
you
when
guys are
like,
ahead of the game. You
well,
set
no,
up the
no,
test already.
Genshin beta tests
I'd say we're right.
were not public. Like they had a non-disclosed
Traveler,
thing.
Paimon,
So
let's go
people
fishing
couldn't
together.
make
You got
videos of it.
Dinner's on us tonight.
Okay, but yeah, I could bet you that they did not start
I hope
working
I
on
can
Wuthering Waves
contribute
before
too.
Genshin
The other
released.
Forest Watchers gave
Right,
me
which
some fishing
means
tips a little
the
while.
longest possible amount of time that they've been working on Wuthering Waves would be
I
3
saw
years.
some very appetizing mushrooms
And
in
3
the area,
years to develop
so I got
a game like
Keeping
this
with the Forest
is,
Watcher
well,
is the way to
a
go.
long time. It
We
sounds
can
like
do
a long
everything.
time,
This is true.
but
I
if
don't
you
think
think
I've
about
ever
it,
had a single rough day. in
how
this
many
full-
years do you
So?
guys think
I see.
Rockstar
Oh, in that case, you
took
should
to
try a
develop
Valberry.
GTA 5?
I bought
A valuable suggestion.
And how many years do you think Rockstar's been
I have a
working on
sudden
GTA
craving for fruit
6?
tea. I'm gonna go fetch some stuff.
Right? So like it takes a long time to
She
make
sure made a run for it.
an open world game properly
Unbelievable.
and make it so that it's
So
it's
college
not
shows
gonna
the
have
path of-
optimization
My
issues
dear
on
friend.
day one.
You know
So-
what I am. Oh,
Ugh,
Yeah, so you bet Hoyo probably expected. I'm sure they couldn't have known if they would have the optimization issues, but they probably expected it. They probably expected that Wuthering Waves would have this issue, and even if Wuthering Waves didn't have the optimization issues on day like in the initially,
I'll reel it in.
them adding lower quality settings
Firewood.
so that more people with lower end devices can play Genshin is just them sort of further widening their player demographic. Right? It's like because especially because the game's been out for a lot longer than their new big competition. That means they've had a lot more time to do optimizations.
There are 3 tents.
So they are not
Which one do you
expecting
two wanna
their new
take?
competition to be as optimized as their game, which means they're not
Anyone with-
expecting Wuthering Waves to compete in the in the demographic of players that likes this types of game, these types of games, but just don't have a high end enough device to play it properly. So now they're trying to target that demographic of players as well.
Someone.
Wait, hey, if it works for state,
Medium well.
Okay, these are about ready now then. It'll be a few more minutes.
And they probably, you bet Hoyo has data on like what types of players are
Tired
continuing to
and go
play the game
rest.
and what type of players have
You must be
quit
getting
playing their
sleepy
game.
too, Paimon.
Tonight,
And you can bet that a lot of the players that have quit playing Genshin probably spent money on Genshin. Like there were probably some of them that spent money on Genshin, but like they just didn't have a high end enough device because like there really are players
Oh,
like that, man.
don't forget this.
They will spend money on games,
The
but they
staff.
won't spend money on a
It's a
higher end
very-
device to play games
Fair enough.
better.
yeah, Paimon's sure. We'll be fine.
Silly RJs for Clorinde.
But right now,
For Gladiator? Why for Gladiator? So I heard that she's gonna be doing like normal attacks and like spamming her skill, but I don't expect her normal attacks to do that much damage. I don't know. Like I'm not expecting her normal attacks to be the majority part of her DPS.
I think they. Traveler.
Look at this.
Not only is the kit pro not only the kit is pro max, but also the assets. Well, I mean, Kaching and the fake cat ears
Sorry to wake you.
was
Let's get dressed
pretty
and
cute.
talk about it outside.
But I agree with you. The assets are also pro max. The assets, the
Something
special
has come up.
assets.
And since it pertains to
Whoa, back up. Let's.
Do you have a Discord server so I can show you what characters I have? I don't know who to build. Like, so happens, yes. It's literally the pinned message in YouTube chat, man.
Ah,
We have a
there they
Discord
are.
server exactly for that.
I'll have a cup too.
Can you see if the?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. If you like, when you go in there, we have a
man.
channel called
I
Need
should have
Help.
gotten a few.
Do tell.
If you
Oh right.
put your
I
stuff
forgot
up
to
there
mention.
and you
So,
ping
I
me,
ran
my
into
name is
Cyrus yesterday.
Elvis
Anyway,
Elvis
we got a
Einstein
bottle of
on our
Lombard's new
Discord
vintage
server.
for the
Yeah, you can ping me.
know
You
what
can
it's
ask for
about?
my
I heard.
opinion personally.
I wonder
But
what.
we got a lot of
Cyrus,
smart
give
people
me a
over
sec.
there, so
I'll
other
sketch it out
people
for you.
are also definitely willing to help you out over there too. Even if you don't ping me. I remember before I couldn't even play Genshin until I got a new phone. This new phone. When was that? Do you remember when that was, Mighty? Was that way back then
Okay,
when
done.
we
Take a look.
didn't have a
See what I mean?
lower?
I
We
don't
didn't
think-
have we didn't
What?
used to have
Take
lower
this, for
settings,
instance.
lower graphic settings
Look,
for
it bears a
Genshin.
stri-
Like for
Whose
example,
emblem?
It's the emblem.
the render resolution, like way back then in 1.0, the lowest render resolution we had was 1.0. We
After
didn't used to
discussing it
have
with this
render
was a long way to
resolutions that
come
were
from
less
the
than
city.
1.
Alhaitham then just.
Hold on. So
Is everything okay?
I
Give me a
remember before. Oh, just save money for a new phone than using it for gacha. I know, right? I mean,
So you've
I
never
understand
heard of
that,
these days,
like, because
at
typically,
least, historically, by contrast, none of the academic.
um,
It's
okay,
possible.
like if you compare,
Did you forget?
if you
If
you
you're
list down
asked
like
so much
all the
about this
gacha
doesn't make
games, or at
sense.
least like most of the
Why did
popular
emblem
gacha
students
games,
So
You said you ran into.
a
Yep.
big majority
that's
of the
something-
gacha games out there are
the
like
Academia's Temple of
these
Silence really does exist. Just
like a lot of them are
Yes.
just 2D
If this
browser games.
situation
In
is
fact,
Kale.
right? A
Could
lot
I
of them are just
travel
2D
it?
browser
Sounds
games.
like
A lot of them, or at least
Cyrus has been
last
living in
maybe
the
5 to
city
10 years now,
He rented a
have
place
been
near the
mobile
field
games,
so he can
but
keep an eye
typically
on his
they're
tomato
2D,
plants.
right? Or if they are 3D, then they're like not very graphically intensive, and they're typically not like however Hoyo has formulated
This
Genshin.
is the place.
Right, whereas like
We might
in
be too
Genshin's
late.
case, like their
Looks
end
like
game is
nobody's-
easily
Cyno moves
attainable
fast.
just by playing
he was-
actively
I
and
know
knowing
that
how to
boy.
optimize
Is
building
that
your
Cyno
how to
right
optimize
here?
utilizing your resources,
Professor
managing
Sahagi?
your resources and like being
Wow.
efficient with
So
like
it
where
really
and when
is
to use
you.
them.
My goodness.
And
We're
just
looking
playing
for
actively, right?
Yes,
Just keep
I
getting
told him
the
old
primo gems and the
must have
free
a lot.
currency.
If Cy-
Professor,
And
Did you?
eventually,
Why,
yeah, like you
I
will
could
be able to
after seeing-
attain endgame.
As a
And
former
it doesn't even take
Cyrus-
that long. Like you don't have to grind for like years and
Oh,
years and
thank
hours,
you.
hundreds and hundreds of hours to get to endgame in Genshin. It's not very hard.
Yep, that
But
sounds like Sino.
with other
Thank you, Professor
gacha
Traveler,
games,
Paimon.
a lot of other gacha games have PvP, and it's that PvP is that's really what drives people to. It's that PvP that really drives people. To what's the word I'm looking for? Academia. Okay. This is on the ground, isn't it? Is it on the ground? No. Okay, that's fine. So with that PvP is really what keeps pushing people to improve their accounts. So that plus FOMO, plus power creep. And
Next
that's
on the
typically
agenda.
how gacha games
We're way behind schedule.
operate, right? Like most gacha games. So, and I think the mindset that some players have when that probably are playing
Next on the
Genshin
agenda.
is that they don't have to spend money on getting a better device, and that they have to spend their money on the game itself in order to not fall behind. Like maybe some of them still have that mindset, the same mindset as they have with like other gacha games.
You're here? I thought you were going after... Ah, I guess you lost their trail.
It's 6
We went
years
to
for a new
Cyrus.
You
phone.
didn't say where...
No.
3 years of waiting for Genshin.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Typical Cyno. Anyway, some updates on progress.
I checked some ancient texts for a
Yeah, and
Meanwhile, Arav, the one who told him about Cyrus's embezzled funds.
apparently, Uraraka's in...
I see.
So, how
He doesn't know.
Nephis and Ar also. The Temple of Silence felt that
Gacha
they could
games
no
on
longer
mobile
trust
are very
the Act ever
demanding
since
nowadays,
it's at its
and you
roots.
have
The academia.
not
a
only
So how
Poco
did
on your
Sa-
side
That's...
Whoever is behind
to
must
help
have
you.
wrecked
since
And
the
by the way,
desert.
this
I
is
have to
not
go
paid
out.
advertisement.
I should be fine.
Poco
Everyone,
phones,
I have news from the core of 30.
especially the open world ones. Yeah, like it's kind
Oh,
of
so
crazy,
that's
like how
Neph-
much
It's a pleasure to
specs
several
they managed to cram into. This is a very new character design.
Academia's perspective.
I'm sorry, I just
Now is the time for action.
I noticed in this
I understand where
story
you're coming
quest
from, Master.
quite a few
But I'm
new
afraid the situation might be
NPC
more
designs.
complicated than we
Like there was
thought.
that old lady
I
like down
think
on the ground
we need
floor.
to keep a low profile
in that
or
house.
risk making things worse.
And there was also that
Good
other
point.
NPC that we talked
If
with, like the
Cyrus
other
is
scholar
involved with the
from
other
like a
side,
couple of minutes
or
ago.
worse, if he's
But,
fallen
like-
into their hands, and everyone,
All right,
need our help?
really.
not bad. I
Arav
mean,
and
like
I will continue to
I
follow
certainly
up on the lead
appreciate
from Uraraka.
the effort
Kaveh, Scribe Alhaitham,
in
I'd like to
coming
ask
up
you to
with
cover the duties of the House of Dana.
non-generic NPCs. Not bad, not bad. I appreciate it,
Minari.
I am. Kaveh, I'll be.
Well,
Thank you all.
especially the open
Arav,
world ones. Well,
let's
there
go.
aren't that many yet. I'd say there
You'd better
there
get
aren't
moving.
that many open
Don't
world
forget to
gacha
ask for
games
help.
just
Will
yet.
do. Let's go, Tighnari. Hopefully we...
Knowing him,
I actually
he's-
don't know what set can be good for Clorinde. She uses normal and elemental attack a lot. From what I've heard, a lot of people seem to be talking about 4 Thundering Fury on her. And it sounds crazy, but I'm sure it's gonna make sense once she once she finally gets released. I sent. Okay. Sorry, Ace2. I probably won't be able to respond to you right away because, like, obviously I'm playing right now. And so I guess, I mean, your name doesn't sound familiar, so I guess
It's not
this is
my
your first time here on stream. I guess you don't know that I'm in Asia. I'm on the NA server, yes, but I'm in Asia. And it's the midnight over here. So I think by the time that I finish the stream, it'll be quite late already. So I'm just heading straight to bed after that. So I might be able to respond to that tomorrow.
You only gave us his. Oh, also, hey guys, it's been a while. You're looking well. Glad Candace and I came to care. Some people say they saw him. Guess he stood out as an older guy heading in. That's gotta be one.
Cyno, it's okay if we're here to help.
No.
We spoke with Zaha.
Sounds
Also,
like
Still.
I don't know like how familiar you are with Discord. I'm not very familiar with Discord. Really, like literally, I most of the, however the server is now, is thanks to our mods, and it's not because of me. Because like when I made that Discord server, I literally just created the server and like I left it like exactly the way it was when I created
There's
it.
a few
Just
things I'd like to clear up.
100% default.
So,
And then once we started having mods, oh no wait, once there were quite a few people
you have
there, and
any
like some people
connection
were
with the Temple
chatting,
of-
just chatting
Due to
Genshin
my
stuff,
efforts,
and then like I was
it's a good
trying
thing
to
that I
like
did not
yeah, you're right.
give advice to
I
this one
suspect
dude, and I
well.
noticed,
Speak-
okay, well this is getting
Or
hard.
rather-
So I made a different
Fair
channel
enough.
for that,
Works for me. All right.
and then I started
off
to
we
make
go.
other channels.
Let's start by
and
seeing
then-
what the guard.
Finally, someone with mod like
Hello.
Genshin
I'm looking for.
Discord moderation experience joined the server, and it was like
Where was he
his eyes probably hurt seeing what I did.
Great.
So he offered to do stuff for me, and okay, the server got a lot better. So like, I think you might have to select roles. I think that's how it works.
There you go.
In order to start
you so much.
sending messages.
you've got a
So make sure to do
Best
that.
of luck.
skyward, scatter. Next on the agenda.
It was the first age of smartphones. Back then, we were just playing Plants vs. Zombie. Zombie Tsunami, Pooh, and Fruit Ninja. And Angry Birds.
Scatter.
Angry Birds and Plants vs. Zombies. Have 2 good thundering
Hold on.
parts.
I see.
Yeah. Most of the time, most of the rumors that I'm hearing about
Should be.
Clorinde are
No.
that 4
I'll do
Thundering Fury would be good on her. And I think the
Why can't Cyno go talk?
they
to
were
them?
also
What
I think they were
difference does it
talking about the
make?
new set as well.
Given my background, appearance, and the way I dress,
I'm not sure. Like,
I might
what
not
was
be
the
the
name
most
of that new
welcome
set? I don't
visitor
remember.
here.
I heard some people talk about the name of a set that I'm not so familiar with. I don't know if it's the new set.
Hello there.
I don't know if it's the newest set
Oh,
or if it's
I'm
one of the
missing
newer
I'm just
sets.
wondering-
I don't know. One of life set for Clorinde, same as father. Oh, that
silver-haired
yeah,
guy
yeah.
in a
Okay, I
long
guess it
robe,
was that one.
Culture type with thoughtful eyes.
He'd stand out.
Yes.
He's looking.
Uh-oh. That
Your friend over there stands out a lot too. Hey, aren't you Sino, the General Mahamatra?
Yes, that's me.
You don't seem surprised that I recognized you.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, you're the one looking for the old man who's gone missing.
I have a bad feeling about.
Someone's on edge. No need to hide it. I understand why you're wary of us.
I thought you were a group of merchants. Seems I...
Your henchman.
Hey, hear that, guys? You're my henchman now.
Suits me.
I was not.
As long as I get paid for it.
I was not expecting
Just cut to the
Sethos'
chase
character to
already.
be like this.
I'm running out of.
I thought he was gonna be
Alright,
like
alright. Come with me.
I thought he was gonna
Oh.
be like a young
Don't you wanna
naive
find
kid
your
or
friend?
something like
Silver-haired,
that type of
long-rolled,
trope.
cultured.
So you know where he is.
Just follow me.
So much room to test.
take you to him.
I should say hunter set. Oh, I think the hunter set would be pretty good on her too. Like especially with especially if you're planning to run Clorinde with Furina, obviously, right? But I also heard that she has a way to like heal herself, Clorinde. And obviously, if you can drain your HP with Furina, then yeah, I think hunter would also be good.
And here.
What? Where are you looking? There's nothing here.
Please step back.
Whoa, something's coming out of the ground.
What is this enormous building doing here?
And how was it so well hidden? King Deshret's technology?
Wait, so... Hold on, who are you guys really?
Yes, you can heal herself
this?
in her state,
The
unlike
Temple of
Foliar.
Silence?
Only
So
the
you
ultimate-
remember?
Yeah, so the
All
hunter set
good questions.
wasn't good
There'll
for
be plenty of time to address them
Arlecchino.
later.
So she heals after a thrust. Oh, I'm not reading this.
This
I'm
is
not reading this
what
out
I'm
loud.
always expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next to an oasis. Ooh, I'm scared. They
That
must
was-
have kidnapped Cyrus.
It was weird.
Do
It's a
you
very
know this?
unusual Paimon voice.
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
I just hope for.
Me too.
It's not sus, you dingus. I mean, that she needs a mod of life on minimum. Was this already stated in the special program? Because I don't remember. Okay, I remember them talking about healing. I remember them talking about thrust attack, etc. Just okay.
We're way behind
That's-
schedule.
I'm sorry. I got distracted. So ever since the special program, since I learned about a little bit more about Clorinde's kit, like the words thrust attack have been on my mind, like to
Next on the agenda.
I guess like to describe her
Alright.
her skill
You can wait here for
while in her melee
inform
state,
our
or
leader
sorry,
that
not
you've
melee,
arrived
her
at the
infused
Temple of
form or
Silence.
infused state.
Sit tight until he comes to
But
greet
like
you.
now that I finally said it out loud, I finally realized.
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended? Maybe.
They can't have been...
Oh man, thrust attack. Jeez.
So this is the Temple of Silence. After leaving the...
Hey, look! That guy's...
Don't worry.
Yeah, but
Someone will
yeah,
come and call for you soon.
What's your
I remember
name?
them talking about using her sword.
Sorry, guess I was
It's even
so
worse.
delighted to see you, I forgot to introduce myself. My name
Using a
is
sword
Sethos.
to do a thrust
I'll be
attack.
here if you need me, but I'm not
Oh,
planning on
man.
answering all of your questions.
They said she heals
Other
after
than that,
a dash
you can
attack.
occupy yourselves however you see fit.
So we're free to explore by ourselves.
She only heals. She has some bond
Yep.
of life.
I mean, I'm not worried about you running off.
Green gas
Cyrus
is taking
is
over
here.
your brain. I'm sure
And
that's
unless I've
probably
missed-
true.
I never imagined.
That's King Desh.
We should beware.
Sethos looks way better than Sarah. I gotta admit, yeah. Well, and not just Sethos, I guess, but like all the new characters since 4.0, I think, have looked so good. Like, so good to the point that it's hard to
Although I'm
it's hard to
assuming by
guess
chat, not often.
whether a character is going to
Temple
be a
of Silence
4-star
is
or
a
a
place of
5-star
quiet
just
and
by looking
solitude.
at their character design.
Here you
Right, like look at Sethos' design. Like that character design could easily be a 5-star. Same with who's the Dragon Dance Chinese character? Pyro dude? I forgot. What was his name? I forgot his name already. Oh my god, how could I forget? Gaming. Yes, right? Like Gaming's character design like could easily be passed off as a 5-star. Like if you look at Gaming's character design and if you released Gaming in 1.0
Greetings.
and you showed me a picture of Gaming and Diluc together, I might think Diluc was a 4-star.
Watch what you're.
Oh my, Cyrus. Just leave.
So that's
Something.
Cyno didn't.
My secret. You're afraid. You knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Araka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. For you. But then, we both know what I said to you that day.
He's also a great
That as the
DPS
leader,
for a
I
4-star.
grant you
He's
permission
just-
to leave.
he's
but that one
better
day,
than
the
Diluc
sands of
too,
time
yes.
will catch up with you. And when that day comes,
So not
you
only
must
is he better
pay
than
the
Diluc
price you
in
owe.
design, like he looks more like a 5-star than Diluc does,
Does he mean?
but
The moon is
he also does more damage than Diluc.
Death once, many years ago in the desert. The moon. One other.
For many years, the test subject, the original.
Just
as the
remember,
second sword
Clorinde
as I
has a
was
very
deliberating,
thrustworthy
both
attack.
are two to preserve our. In recognition, I have always.
I remember when I saw Gaming, I laughed at it. All my friends were
I'm
talking
sure you
trash
don't.
about him,
You and he.
and that's why I didn't
As
get
a
him.
follower of Hermanubis, I
Why?
have allowed this power to
Because of his
remain in the
design?
rain
Or his name?
for far too long.
Probably his name.
That power is not yours.
You are wrong.
So those are your.
Despise me all you want.
So what you're saying?
Divine power.
He is no longer a small child.
Both my heart.
Don't listen.
I know.
Sorry to interrupt. Say that Cyno refuses to return his. You're trying to gauge where we stand while.
Wait. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we'll.
I think Gaming damage comparable to some 5-stars and some beating
Why
them.
is he coughing?
Like it's yeah,
Take our
maybe
leader back
not
to
the
his room.
top tier 5-stars, the top tier modern 5-stars that we have now, but certainly some of them. Yeah, certainly some of them.
I don't like to
Especially
dra- Had
like if
Cyrus
it's
not still. I'm not like
because
I see things a little different. So I'm not going.
I just things.
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather.
a modern,
All you in
a
Baltimore.
newer,
Glad to
some
see
of the
you're giving
newer
it some-
I won't
C6
force-
That
4-stars
Oh, my.
are about as good as some of our newer
Are you
C2
sure about-
5-stars.
All right.
Like I said, definitely not the top tier ones, but certainly the more average ones. Everything. His name, his design, called him Bennett from Wish. His design? I mean, I guess I
I've
could
taken
see
some time to reflect on
what
this.
they were probably thinking.
If I had to, he's a stubborn.
I agree.
You've heard all you. My
Okay,
own
yeah,
I do
because like his
remember I was still
clothes are
young
a
then,
bit scruffy.
And all I could understand was that there
I
was
guess
a
that's
strong
probably
will
where they
inside
were
my
getting this
mind.
from. Like same with Bennett, right? Like Bennett wears
The power
shorts,
that
like
came to
cargo
inhabit my
shorts,
spirit
and
was probably one of the
Gaming's,
cornerstones of their whole faith.
pants were like really
You're not
loose
gonna
and
give
like
in to
not
their
form fitting,
No.
not like
So I will
he
challenge.
didn't look like a K-pop
Kave has
a
made similar
K-pop
observations
star,
about the desert tribes from
like a
his
boy
work
band
trips there.
K-pop star.
I think we could turn that
Not
to
like
our advantage.
Alhaitham or
Wow,
Ayato,
it
right?
Looks like we have
like,
the same.
he
Turn it
didn't look
back on them now
cool.
while we-
Great.
He looked more practical. And I think that's probably what they were getting at. And like, if you look at Bennett's design, like his clothes are like really practical for an adventurer. And Gaming's also
Sethos,
seems to be in a similar
let's talk.
In a similar spot.
Have you made up your mind? We'll get to that, but
Yeah,
first,
not the top, but below
I
the
have
top. Yeah,
some degree
definitely,
of medical
definitely.
training, so I was wondering if
Maybe
you
in the
might
nick
let
of
me take a look at your
in the nick
grandfather.
of time, they decided
no
to make him
objections,
a 4-star
although we
instead of a
do have
5-star,
our
but
own
leave his damage
doctors
as it
here.
is.
I doubt. Follow me.
Whose banners?
Keep your voices down.
Did he come out with again? I don't remember. It's possible, but
Let's
yeah,
talk.
it's
Bamoon
also
has
depending
fallen
on the
into a
5
deep
stars that he
coma,
came out
and
with.
He appears to regretfully.
Genuine.
Yeah.
You're his heir, aren't you?
And
you clearly have a lot.
who are the other 5 stars?
You know?
Okay, I guess reruns,
Right.
right? Like, who are the
I
other
accept.
rerun
Legend
5
has
stars?
it that
I don't
group
remember.
Sounds very.
As a fellow,
Genuine Nahida.
however, letting Cyrus.
None needed. If I win, the Temple of
It
Silence.
certainly
if you
seems
win,
like
It's a
that's
deal.
possible because Genuine was the only 5-star thing, right? Like the only new 5-star. That's possible. Maybe they realized like if Gaming were a 5-star, he's not strong enough to be a modern 5-star.
After how that
there never was.
You
And
have
like
to
maybe
win.
they didn't have enough time to do calculations
The traveler
again
and I-
for
And neither.
new
The desert was
for,
home to an ancient and great
for,
civilization.
if they
for a
increased
variety, but there
the
must be
multipliers
personal factors at work here too.
to make him worthy of being a modern
Can't shake
5-star.
the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he.
And maybe they just decided, okay, he's gonna be a 4-star. And I changed my mind after knowing his personality. Even then, it was karma. I didn't get him at 7 pulls. He is good. Yeah, like he's at C0. I think he's already fairly usable. Let's see. Who would I compare him to? Who are 4 stars? Let's see. Ability. There. Okay. Gaming. Let's see. Who are some of the better 4-star DPSs here? I don't think I could compare him to Xiangling, but I'd say he's like in the same ballpark as Xiangling. Only difference is he's on field. A Beidou? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I guess I would put him in the same. Yeah, in the same category as Beidou, but like Beidou is more.
If you ever want to trade tactics,
situational.
I'm always ready.
Right, like where if you're fighting strictly 2 enemies, Beidou is like really good. Like I would say even like 5-star level, and I would put Gaming in the same category as that. But that's at C0. At C6 though, you could at C6 Gaming, you could easily compare him to he's stronger than Diluc, man. A 4-star.
We gather on this stage.
I remember believing Sigewinne to be a 4-star. I mean, like I looked at Sigewinne's design and like I really expected her to be a 4-star. When I first saw Sigewinne at the Fortress of Meripede,
Grandfather,
in the early Arc Conquests, I was immediately quite sure of myself that Sigewinne was going to be a 4-star.
We come not to debate what brings our challenge.
Huh? Are you?
I agree. She's very strong.
Okay,
Sure.
we have decided.
So have we.
Because leaks are always changing. That's why some people got
Duelists
confused.
of the first bout,
Is
please
Sacrificial
step forward.
Claymore good to use on Beidou? I never really hear people talk about using Greatsword
Safety first.
on. What are we
You
doing?
there. You better play nice with her, or Paimon will make you regret it.
A little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
What am I supposed to do? Do I have? Okay, it seems like I can actually win this thing. Oh, okay.
A
Apparently I'm supposed to win
end
that
to
thing.
the first bout. I know when you're both ready.
Let's begin.
Watch out!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Alright.
Can't see?
Certainly not one of my best shots.
I hear everything.
But so on my third account,
Thus
way
ends the
back
second.
then,
I'm ready.
So am I.
I think
when you're
Sacrificial
For many
Greatsword
years,
was actually
we
one
have
of
kept our
the few
covenant with
things
Lord
on my
Hermanubis
third
of the
account that
Earth
convinced
now.
me to start
I
building
will-
my third
I am
account.
Cyno, and you. I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred
But
duel.
Everyone.
It's
My
not
grandfa- But our fate
great,
times have changed. Then I thought of each
but
both
it
I
also
once
I am
suits
more
her.
than
Exactly.
I'd say it's suitable on her. I wouldn't say it's
Hermanubis
good on her, but I would
has
say
left
it's
its
suitable on
mark.
her.
So show
Because
me
like
your
ER, right?
answers.
Beto's very energy
Show me
energy
I can
hungry.
be more.
And being able to use having the chance to use your
Bring it on!
counter mechanic twice in a row is pretty satisfying.
That's all you've got? What happened to searching for your answer? Fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis. priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
That music is so cool. The music here in the desert part of Sumeru is like some of my favorite music. I mean, there's a reason why I really like the Mummy series of movies.
Do you feel okay?
You know, the Mummy from like, not the Tom Cruise one. Please. I'm talking about the Brendan, is it Brendan or Brandon? Brandon Fraser ones. Yeah, man, that music, that kind of music, I don't know what genre it's called, but it's so cool. It's like, it sounds adventurous, and at the same time, despite like being action-packed, it also sounds romantic somehow. RJ, that nostalgia hits from nowhere. Like, what do you mean nowhere? We're in the desert. We're in the desert, probably inside a pyramid or like an underground, like, ruin. But like, that's, I mean,
Hey,
I don't.
Sethos.
I don't think it came from
It's just
nowhere.
I guess you were. Yeah. At least
What's next?
per my.
But I did foresee
Another
Sethos.
thing that I'm
Were it not for
so disappointed in
I do.
Cyno about is
Still,
like
well,
they always
Sethos.
make him look so cool
That's a
and
much
so
big-
strong
Actually,
in
that way.
combat
And you won.
scenes.
And
In
where
like
he knew that his plan.
And here I thought
in
that
combats
Juno Mahamacho
and
wouldn't
fights
care for all
in
of it. You're absolutely-
cutscenes,
Thank you for everything.
but
the Temple of Sight.
like he's everything but that.
Tainari. The story goes that
in
Kit
actual
went on to
gameplay.
fight the Tainari in all likelihood. How fascinating.
I like this.
Yes. If it's true.
Someone's got to. I will make a detailed report. I'm sure you'll have lots to. If we're going to work.
I will. All right.
See you soon. Come here.
My friend just got his channel hacked. The hacker is posting malware. Babe. Man, that's... I'm sorry to hear that, man. That is... So, hacking YouTube accounts is not as prevalent nowadays as it was about 6 months to a year. No, 6 months... No. Between 6 and 18 months ago. Between 6 and 18 months, like... It's... how do I explain this? Every couple of weeks, I would see, like for some reason, I would see, like a YouTube channel called Tesla in my subscription feed. Yeah, like in my subscription feed, not even like my home feed, literally in my subscription feed. Obviously, so it was somehow a channel that I'd already subscribed to, but I've never subscribed to Tesla. Because, like, obviously, you know, like, why would I? I mean, nothing against what they do, but I'm hardly somebody who can afford to buy a Tesla. So why would I even, why would I even bother? And, like, every couple of weeks, I would see a channel that, you know, like, with the Tesla logo as their profile picture, channel named Tesla, live streaming, and the thumbnail would be like of what looks like a Zoom meeting between Elon Musk and like a couple of like other like really smart tech or like business guys. And
what do you mean? Okay, look.
I've never clicked on it,
Really laying into Cyrus.
but at some point I finally clicked on one, and then
Wow.
and then what it was it was literally just looping looping over and over again, like I don't know, maybe an 11-minute video, like, or a stream or whatever, an 11-minute Zoom meeting of Elon and like 3 other really smart-looking people talking about cryptocurrency, talking about the internet in general, and just Elon being Elon.
We have here.
All taking.
That does not.
And
when you run into...
that one time that I had actually clicked on it, apparently it was Linus Tech Tips. Like, yes, that Linus Tech Tips, like their main channel, they got hacked.
Kale, please do something.
Say, Madam Farzan, I can... Huh?
And I haven't seen one in a while.
Did I hear that right?
I think what happened was like
Wonderful.
they finally hacked a big enough YouTube channel, aka well LTT, and I think at some point, like maybe not LTT specifically, I'm sure they probably hacked somebody bigger even, like who knows, or like at least more than one more than one channels that were like that big. And like YouTube finally decided to crack down on it or something. I don't know, because I haven't seen one in a while.
Way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out
And
and about.
but you bet they're still out there.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe.
You reminded me of an old actor. I actually
2 people
forgot.
left.
Are you talking about Brandon Fraser? How could you forget Brandon Fraser, man? He's a really nice guy. He gave us George of the Jungle, for Pete's sake. Like, how could you forget the dude? George of the Jungle. Watch out for that tree. Man. It's certainly not a movie that I would rewatch, but I'm happy that I watched it at some point. Like, it's passed through my life.
Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh and Alhaitham engaged in diligent studying?
We're just reorganizing.
There's no rush. My sincere.
Yes, with.
I wonder how they hack them, because you have to click a link or something.
see.
So from
And it
what I
sounds like they
remember,
meant
that they will
LTT
now
got
as a
hacked
token of my.
Yeah, sounds
because
sure.
someone on their team was exchanging emails with a potential sponsor, or at least somebody who was offering a sponsorship. And at some point in one of their emails, they included a link that you know, for them to continue their discussion about a sponsorship. Obviously, at some point they had to click on the link for them to continue the discussion about the potential sponsorship. So they did. They clicked on the link, and they somehow noticed that there was something wrong with it, and then that was it. That was it. They got hacked because of that. Is 30k damage good for Hazo? Is it 30k from his fully stacked skill, or 30k normal attacks?
Whoa!
A truly.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified of you, Cyno.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a true
I got to be a champion too.
Yeah, huge
Full stack
place.
skill?
It felt like something right out of an epic poem.
Forgive me, but like my memory isn't very clear on how much damage Hazo can do. But I think
that'll do.
Shall we stop off at the House of...
So I'm looking at. By the way, I still haven't closed your
See you all later.
my Chrome window
Make sure you
here
get
in the
some good
background
rest tonight.
that I have your account opened on, and so
go
you
say
I
thanks
can
to
see
the
your
core 30
Hazo
for their
still
Also,
at talent
Sir
level
Nessus says he
4,
wanted
like
to
the skill is
introduce
still
me
at
to some of
talent
the
level 4,
Academia's work
at level
processes.
60 out of
So,
60.
I got a dash too.
With a level 70 lost player, and I remember you told me earlier
Collie's
that
come a long
your
way.
Hazo was
She's much more confident
not
at
fully
dealing with
leveled
other
yet, and you
people
had
these
level
days.
70 psychic
Everyone's
wins
a work in progress.
on him.
You never
But I also
stop
don't see
learning.
any artifacts on him.
Sure.
I don't know why. I even refreshed the page. But for a level 60 Hazo with a not maxed out weapon, I would say 30k is okay. But once you fully level him up, fully level his talents, give him proper artifact sets, I think you should be aiming a little higher for like a fully stacked
Would you come somewhere
skill
with me?
hit.
That's a secret.
Okay. I think I can guess what you're talking about.
And when I say higher, I mean like quite higher, like more than 100k higher. Especially once you've fully leveled him and leveled up his weapon and fully equipped him and yeah, and his talents. I was using Ayaka's
Been a while
artifacts on him.
since I last made my
see,
way up
I
here.
see.
Need any help?
That's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so...
Traveler, turn around.
I watched this old movie on a cassette disc when I was 6.
Secret base. When I was a student
Really?
back then, I had
Which
a lot of the
movie
same
was that?
questions that Sethos was at. Our gifts help us.
You two really are like
Getting a lot of
I
main
feel the same way.
rate.
I still remember one time when we
circlet with
came
crit
up here to
damage.
chat and do our homework.
Oh, okay.
That was the one and only time.
I want the reverse.
Nothing will ever slip.
You know,
Then make
Crit,
it.
sorry.
You
Crit
okay?
damage? Okay. Mighty? You're gonna like this, but I heard that Clorinde has a bit of crit rate in her kit. Like she gets free crit rate somewhere from her kit.
Cyno. Just the man I'm looking for. Get...
Some old.
Can you believe... I was at the Academia. Oh, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this.
You look quite... Ah, it's this one.
All his mummy movies and that one where
all right.
he fights
And
plants
this
and dinos. What?
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
I don't remember that one, but
Hey,
yeah, the mummy movies
moments
definitely.
like this, I can't.
I mean,
pretend I'm
I
a
would
good person.
like they're really good movies in my
every
opinion.
reason to
I would still
despise me.
recommend people watch them even today, 2024.
I've dreamt of that place many times after. You've matured so much over the years, Cyno.
Since you're my professor, I should save you
Main
some
rate.
face by not calling
Okay,
you out on
okay.
all the
Because your
nonsense.
message said main
Good
rate
thinking.
circlet.
Take your
I
own
guess you
advice,
meant
Nick.
crit
Seriously,
rate
why
circlet with
bully
crit
an old
damage.
man
Ah, I
like
see, I
me?
see.
Hey, wait.
Yeah, okay, I get it now.
How did I not notice this one earlier? Look how cute you.
Yeah.
Oh, I.
I think you can hit 300k with his E
Right.
with the right
Add it
team
to
and
my
build.
schedule. Wait, no. Next week is the
Only with
tomato growing
C14 and some
competition.
other stuff.
I
But yeah, like it's. I think Chocolate has. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how much damage he should be able to do with his fully stacked skill, but I'm pretty sure 100k even is like average. But again, that's fully leveled. Yours isn't fully leveled yet, so I think that's pretty good with what you have right now.
Add Ash. Thank you for
I think 2-piece Golden Troop. And either 2-piece attack. Golden Troop, 2-piece attack, Animo. Piece be good on Hazo. 2-piece Golden Troop. Oh yeah, I guess the skill damage. Well, I guess that's it. Not really. Okay, yeah, did my dailies, Resin, and the Sino story quest. I guess that's it for today. That's way too expensive for a star to be buff. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Again, Azetsu, if you want my answer personally on Discord, like, again, just ping me over there, go to the Need Help channel, ping me, and I guess also, like, type in your UID as well, like, along with, like, screenshots of what characters you have on your account, as well as the weapons, like this screen right here, and like show all the relevant weapons that you have, including some of the 3 stars, like, you know, so I could see like how many TTDSs you have, how many Black Clips, how many Arbiter Dawns, and White Tassels you have. Yeah, like include that, but I will not be able to answer you immediately tonight because like it's not even night anymore. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm hitting. Yeah, I'm going straight to bed after this. So I'll probably be able to answer that tomorrow, man.
It's so nice to de-stress.
Time itself is a silent song.
I'm gonna send a message to RJ after me and Clorinde repopulate. So, I imagine you're gonna be doing a lot of
Should we really be off work this early?
a lot of thrust attacks,
There's
huh?
still a lot left to do.
Time itself.
You're gonna be using that sword quite a lot to do thrust attacks, huh?
Exactly.
Can we go finger next time?
Well, anyway, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, I'm better get to bed. So yeah, anyways, for anyone else who needs any help building their characters accounts, making a decision where Spanish to pull for, feel free to join our Discord server. Links are in the description of all my videos, VODs, and streams, and in the pinned message in YouTube chat. Thank you guys so much for coming by, hanging out, and being awesome people. Have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, and take care, everybody. Bye, guys. Guys, you sleep like RJ. Well, we're both sleepy, so we're both headed to bed at the same time. And you bet you can guess what happens next. Alright, I'm like, okay, I think that was you who said it earlier, Chokoshu. I don't remember if that was you. Somebody said the green gases are starting to take over the brain. But that's certainly, yeah, that's certainly what's happening right now. So I better skedaddle. Alright, anyway, thank you guys. Take care.